My name is Haidara. I'm going to talk today about balance eclecticism. I'm an interaction designer. In my daily work, I was bored. I didn't like it. But I had this bad boy over here. And I was like, maybe I can try to do something that balances my work, put back creativity, inspiration, energy into it, as much as like doing something on the outside. It was based on a couple of principles. Finding the right balance, scale, perspective, practice, and having all of that into some sort of serendipity approach is what created for me like balance eclecticism or symmetry. My name is Haidara. Not with a K, Eric with a C, that's okay. The sixth grade, I've seen you, but that's okay. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm going to talk today about balance eclecticism. So that's just a way for me not to use the word symmetry. But we're going to go around that, that's the theme. And I'm going to tell you first, I need to warn you, I'm going to use GIF or GIF, a lot of those. I'm going to use effects, like a lot of like flashy effects. And maybe some full language from time to time. So if there's anything like that, just be ready. Okay, what I wanted to know there is, effect, first one. Creativity, we're here in CreativeMornings, so I would make an assumption that everybody here is somehow interested in creativity, working with creativity as a prerequisite. So how many of you here are, let's say, art directors? One in the back, very good. Designers, generally, a lot more hands. Video editors, artists, painters, photographers, you name it, exactly. So I believe you would come at some point to where people were expecting you to be creative every day. Like it's like, oh, you're not the creative kind, come up with some great idea. Very cliche, but it does happen all the time. And that's something that I struggle with in my day job, the one that actually pays the bill and everything. I am an interaction designer. So I'm working on web applications, mostly boring stuff, like stuff for business and professionals, not the cool app like Kahoot that you can bring to the world to everyone, but more stuff like you're gonna create a system to put a picture in another system, and that's not really fun. So I felt like pushing pixels and trying to come up with solutions that were good, but I kind of lost the point. It really felt like this. So I opened Photoshop, trying to get that line, didn't work, and doing it all over again, every single day. So I don't know if you know the feeling, but that's quite taxing, and especially when someone comes to you like, oh, you're a designer, right? What's your take on that? Can you make it pretty? Do you have a great idea? Like, just come on. I'm like, I don't have anything. So I get back home, creative was gone, and I really feel like this. That was me going back home after work, and that was in 2014. At the same time, I tried to balance that by playing video games. I was 35 by the time, so it's really not an age you should be playing video games too much. Well, I don't want to judge, but I felt that wasn't the right thing to do. I was playing an old video games from my teens years that was still online for some reason. I got beat up by some guy called Captain Ninja XXXXX. I just couldn't take it, and I felt like, okay, this is supposed to give me a sense of balance, of relief, like taking away the stress from work, but it was just stressing me out even more, and that didn't really create a great environment at home in that sense. So I was like, why can I not find like maybe a hobby, something a bit more interesting that I could like put my heart into, that I could, balance in a better way what I was doing during the day. So I was looking at that, hobby, what could I do? I think about this guy, and I was like, no, that's not the right hobby. I'm not gonna do that, it's a hobby. And in summer of 2014, I went to New York with my partner, and I just got an iPhone something, 4 maybe, I'm not too sure. I was like, wow, New York is great. There's a lot of things happening all the time. Click, 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 pictures. But I just didn't really know what I was doing. I was just taking pictures of skyscrapers, people in the street, and I was like, maybe I should do something about it. So moving back to winter 2015, or when I decided not to play video games too much anymore, New Year's resolution, I'm going to do something better. What hobby could I use? Hobby, that was a bit protracted. Anyway, I was like, let's take that photography forward. So I did what I used to do in my daily work as well as my life. I did some research, and eventually I took a wild guess. I was like, I'm going to get a camera, and I ended up buying this one here. It's a very simple yet powerful camera. It's the Fuji 100X. No, X100S, to put it this way. And I thought, oh, now I'm ready to take pictures. I'm an adult. I got a grown-up camera. I can do stuff. But the issue, though, is like I just didn't know what to do. I just didn't know what to take pictures of, and I wasn't in New York anymore. So I knew Oslo. I've been to Oslo for 5 years by then. I was like, okay, I should get started, really. But to get started, I needed to find inspiration. And to do that, I'm going to give you a bit of background on myself and maybe explain to you how I got to take pictures, how I got to what we're going to call balanced eclecticism, as well as, of course, symmetry. I'm a mixed kid. Those are my parents. My mom there, my dad. My mom, she is from, well, I'm French. My mom, she is from France. She's from very close to where I was born. She's the youngest of 10 sons and daughters. And my dad is originally from Mali. He came to France in the early 70s, met my mom, had a great time together, still having a great time together, as far as I know. And yeah, they had a family. And something started to happen. I didn't know that at the time, but I know that now. 3 kids. I'm the middle one. I'm mixed. I'm a mixed kid. I got 2 different cultures coming together in a family hall, 2 different views. Even though those differences were not that different, they both come from the country, each in their own country, but farms. My mom grew up in a farm in the mountain in France. My dad grew up in a farm in the savannah back in Africa, in Mali. So I was like, there's something there, and I really like that. And they told us all the time that by bringing different perspectives, different things together, we can probably do a lot more. And I was like, okay. Then I'm a Gemini. What Gemini? Gemini. Let's say Gemini. I'm born in June. I'm born 16th of June. Just remember, I'll be coming back. And for the longest time, I believe that was the exact middle day of the year. It's not. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, June, that's the 6th month of the year, great. Then 16 is almost like the middle, no, it's not. Anyway, I felt, okay, there's something there. And the thing about Gemini as well is that there's the idea of 2 personalities, and you're like someone at day, someone at night. I don't believe in that. What I believe in is that as a Gemini, you can see things, or for me anyway, I see things from different perspectives. That makes it, in a way, very good. Back to my interaction design work, because I would have some sort of empathy that I could use, but at the same time, very difficult, because it makes I could like literally sit between 2 chairs and not make up my mind. So I was there right in the middle, and I was like, I hear what you say, that's great, but yeah, you're having definitely a valid point right there. What do we do? You see. And for those born before the 80s, if there's anyone in the room, yes, power to you. So my friend used to call me the Kofi Annan of the group, because he was the former UN General Secretary. So I was always trying to break peace, to find a way in the middle, looking at both sides. Like I said, I'm an interaction designer. In my daily work, I was bored. I didn't like it. But I had this bad boy over here. And I was like, maybe I can try to do something that balances my work, put back creativity, inspiration, energy into it, as much as like doing something on the outside. And what it does, it was based on a couple of principles. One of them is obviously symmetry. And for some reason, I saw symmetry literally everywhere. All of that are pictures I've taken by being some in Oslo, some in Singapore, Bergen, Son, Østfold somewhere, Warsaw, Vigelandsparken, and I don't know, I find them different, but they're all the same in the sense. They all have maybe some sort of balance, a line in the middle, the line of symmetry, right? Or the symmetrical line, or the dotted line. They all have all of that. So it's everywhere, and I'm starting to be really aware of it. And I was like, okay. And I realized that I was doing that as well in my daily work. Like I created an interface, and that interface would have some sort of balance, and sometimes you would like reflect the menu with the call to action. I'm using jargon for some, but I believe most people will understand. Like the big button on the right against the menu on the left, content in the middle, trying to find somewhere there. So there's 5 elements that I'm using to put both in my photography and my daily work. The first one is finding the right balance. Sometimes very, very literal. This is a swing, but I'm balancing on the swing. What I like about this picture is that I am pretty much exactly in the middle, but the swing by itself is not totally symmetrical. And this is something that interests me. At the end of the day, that's just in Sweden, somewhere near Skåne, I think. And it was just a swing on the beach by the water. But for me, it was like a way to express like some sort of order and finding balance in the world. That's a big word, but that's how I felt. And I'm trying to do that in my work as well. The other one is scale. Scale, that's me over here. It's a way for me to see the big pictures as well, going down to the nitty-gritty details. And in the daily work, that's something I do as well. Looking at what is the user flow, what are we trying to achieve, what are the people trying to get out of using that product we're working on. And I lost touch of that before that. But by going and taking pictures and trying to set things in perspective and seeing the scale, okay, this is a person, this is me right there, on that big bump of a mountain, I'd say, okay, there's some sort of order into that. Another one was perspective. I don't know if you know where you're looking up, looking down, on the side, in a hole. Well, I can tell you, you're looking up. That's the opening of a shopping mall in Singapore, somewhere. But perspective is something as well that I forgot about. It's like, what am I trying to do? I'm not trying to do anything. I'm trying to make sure that the people using that product are going to do something. So I need to understand where they're coming from, what their perspective, what they're looking at. And I put that into my photography as well. Another thing that's really, really important is practice. You really need to practice. You need to try again, try again, try again, try again, try again. Is it 10,000 hours that you need to be perfect? I don't know, maybe I've spent 500, maybe 1,000. I'm not at 10,000 yet. I'm not a master at what I'm doing, but I'm getting there and I keep practicing. So just to give you an idea, I was working that day. I have the office in the center, not too far from Aker Brygge. That's Aker Brygge. And it was nice, foggy, moody. That's exactly what I like. So I went out at lunchtime and I decided to take my camera with me, this bad boy, and tripod, and I was like, okay, let's see what's out there. So that picture, very nice, simple, balanced, symmetrical, kind of. There's a reflection somewhere. And I was like, that's cool, but really I would like to have someone here. But I had no one with me, but I had a tripod, and I was like, oh, what can I do? So this is pretty much what I did. The result? Ta-da! So yeah, I did practice. I think I failed the first time. I think I took a couple of shots where I didn't get into the frame because I was too slow. Some I was just sitting midway. Anyway, but I kept trying. I was a bit late at work. I hope no one's here, but that's okay. Anyway, it's something, but all right, you keep practicing, you do that, and like I said, if you remember, I went a bit on the limb saying, I'm gonna try to take some pictures because the conditions are right. There's a word for that, but I'm struggling to say that word, so I'm gonna let someone say it for me.
I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words, I have the best words, but there's no better word than
serendipity.
This is the name. Sorry, that was very loud. But yeah, I'll let you read it. I'm struggling with S's, so I'm just going to do. But for me, serendipity is really the way I approach life in general, photography mostly, and unfortunately to my manager's work sometimes. But I don't see serendipity as just being the happy accident or happenstance or something that just happened because you're looking for something, you get something else. I believe in that, but for me, serendipity is more like about planned luck. So back to that picture, I had the condition, I knew about them, I wasn't really aware of those, but I knew that if I go there, there is a high chance I would take a picture I like. Another example is, so I went, sorry, it's a bit slow, missing a click, yeah. Another day, that was in March 2017, 2 years ago. I had a day at work which I felt was actually quite good. The reason why is I knew I just had a new drone, and I knew like I would go out after work and trying to take some nice pictures and things. So that's around Songsvan. So I finished work, I delivered what I had to deliver, I said bye to everyone, took the Tebane, went up to Songsvan, backpack, drone, camera, and I was like, okay, let's just go around and see what's there. Starting to fly the drone, and I saw this part of, this is not directly Songsvan, that's Svartgulp, that's a little bit on the side. And I was like, oh, that looks interesting, what can I do with that? And the result was fire. This picture. It's not amazing, but this picture I really like because I didn't know I would find it. But I knew that, okay, that's late March, the weather has been good, it's been warm enough that the snow has melted, maybe not enough that it's totally gone, there's still some ice on the water. So I was like, okay, let's go, let's do that. So, serendipity. One thing though, I need to make you aware of, and I think I touched on that already, is the fallacy of choice. This is taken, there's no timestamp on it, but those pictures are taken around by a Tuholman, and there's probably more than double of those pictures taken in 10 minutes maybe. I don't know how to stop. Just a picture because I want the perfect picture, so I'm going to take 20,000 of those, and that's not good. I've got a friend here who's taking pictures, very good, Anthony, there in the middle. He has a totally different approach. He knows, or maybe he doesn't know, I'm not too sure, but he takes a few pictures, but the result is great straight away. He doesn't have to go through like 10,000 pictures and say, this one is slightly better than this one. This is not a good thing. This is a fallacy. You think you have choices, you're actually removing the choices because you're creating more stress. And that's the same at work. When working on UI, working on user flow, users don't like choices. They don't like too many choices. And so I'm like, oh, what if edge case? What if that case? No, it doesn't really help. So anyway, to sum it up, finding the right balance, scale, perspective, practice, and having all of that into some sort of serendipity approach is what created for me like balanced eclecticism or symmetry. It's right there, and as in a way Jimmy Wales, if you know who that is the guy who's asking you money for Wikipedia every year, would put it, well, he didn't really put it, he put it on his website, someone put it on his website. It's basically finding a kind of balance and harmonious between proportions and beauty and all of that, and that's really what this is all about, trying to gauge creativity, because you do something that gives meaning. You do something that is aesthetically, visually pleasing, but at the same time just makes you feel good. And I think, like, as human, we like to feel good about things when they fit together, when they are that sense of balance and equilibrium. But it doesn't need to be totally, to put it this way, clinical. That's why the right balance for me was even more interesting, that I wasn't sitting in the middle of the swing, that was in the middle of the frame. I was slightly on the side, but the swing was slightly asymmetrical, but still. So that's something that was really interesting. So remember, you can find symmetry everywhere if you look for it. Do we have some sort of symmetry here? Nah, kind of. Let's say we have it. So I would challenge you to go out there, find your balance, find your symmetry, and eventually everybody can do that. That was me. Thank you.